Hi, I'm Mark Winstein. I'm founder of EcoSector. And the reason I founded EcoSector is because I think that ecosystems are a whole infrastructure in our society. And if you look at our society today, we've got the transportation sector, we've got the communication sector, but we don't have a whole sector identified for taking care of the ecosystem, which is a fundamental infrastructure on which every other infrastructure depends. I call it a living infrastructure. And so when I set out to start EcoSector, what I thought is, okay, if we can just get to parity with other sectors, the other sectors are $1 trillion or $2 trillion a year in commerce. If we just had parity for the eco-sector with the transit sector, the utility sector, communication sector, if we could just get even on that, the entire planet would be taken care of. And so that's the fundamental principle. That's why I call it EcoSector. And that's what we're about, is growing that sector until we've got, the world recognizes that taking care of the planet is a legitimate and valuable career for people. It's a real important purpose for society. And right now it doesn't exist that way. Well, here's the cool thing about the EcoSector. There are companies now, for-profit companies, that are solving problems that in the past we used to think that was the job of charity or government. And so it's not just doing things greener. I mean, I think that's cool. An old line company, let's take a shoe company. It's like their job is to make shoes, okay? We got feet, we need shoes. The company fulfills that need for shoes, and then they say, well, now we're going to be a green shoe company. So they're making their shoes doing the least possible damage, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's really cool is there are companies out there that are stopping urban sprawl. They're protecting and restoring rainforests and virgin forests around the world. They're creating parks out of thin air and stopping logging and poaching, and they're doing it using a for-profit model instead of extensive government regulations and charity and just sort of begging people to do things. They're really creating an economy that allows people in a natural way to protect the health of the biosphere. And so those are the cool companies that I really like. And one example I like to give, I'm going to use the word Walmart. A lot of people are looking at this camera. I'm going to use the word Walmart. A lot of people who are watching this video, as soon as I say the word Walmart, they're going to turn off. And if you do, okay, I'm sorry, I've lost you. But if you've been following it all, Walmart has been on the cover of Fortune magazine because they've undergone some kind of green renovation. They're trying to do stuff. They sell a little more organic cotton. They're turning off their semis instead of letting them idle all day. And so, Walmart has said they want to become a greener company. But now, does that make Walmart an eco-solution company? Not really. No, it doesn't. They're just still, if you look at their purpose is to ship goods from here to there and get them in the hands of the consumer. Now, what's interesting to me, there's another company called Blue Sky. They're a consulting firm, and they've got, I don't know, about 40 or 50 employees, and their job is to go around the world and get companies like Walmart to convert and to do as little damage as possible. So you can see Blue Sky is fulfilling that activist role that in the past might have been left up to just nonprofits. They're fulfilling this activist role, trying to create as much change as they can. And that's the cool kind of company that's in this eco-sector. And I've seen companies that are out there with strategies to protect aquatic habitats, to protect our ocean ecosystems, companies that literally can save forests now, that can outcompete logging companies for virgin forests. And just a whole gamut of really cool companies that you're never going to hear about from the regular press or anything like that. I mean, I've already done a pretty deep study of where these companies are, who's got the ideas, what's happening, and there are about 25,000 business projects right now that can work today. Now that's 25,000 green business strategies that can work now and solve important environmental problems. And the issue that EcoSector is focused on is these companies just can't either get growing or they can't scale because they have weak access to capital. They got maybe some planning problems. They don't have good expert advice. And so EcoSector is a company, I call it a company like a meta leadership company. Our job is to help every other environmental leader get their plan done. And today, environmental leadership is coming from the entrepreneur world much more so than the charity world. And of course, there are still people founding new charities. Those guys are ecopreneurs too. We help them too. But the guys that have the capacity to scale and really solve problems at the rate and scale that we're facing today are the for-profit companies, because they're running on a set of tools that they're just power tools. You want to get something done big, you do it in the for-profit sector. Well, there's something fundamentally missing in the nonprofit model that keeps the nonprofit groups from ever really reaching critical mass. And I like to say that the largest single environmental nonprofit, the Nature Conservancy, Last time I looked, their budget was about $500 million. Now, that's the largest nonprofit environmental group, and the single smallest Fortune 500 group has annual sales of $4 billion. That's 8 times larger, and there's 499 more companies even bigger than that. So we're operating at the wrong scale. And a lot of environmentalists want to, criticize the corporations, but the thing is that what we really need to do, instead of criticizing what I call this old leadership in the old corporations, which were formed to solve old problems, is form new enterprises that can scale and get up to the right size. So that's what I'm saying. The nonprofit platform itself, nothing wrong. No one knew this. The nonprofit platform itself prevents environmentalists from achieving the kind of scale results that are needed to deal with the health of the ecosystems. Let me give a little analogy I like to say. Everyone's heard of Xerox, and maybe I'm dating myself a little bit because it's been a long time since Xerox was a hot thing, I mean, we take them for granted. But back in the day, Xerox was like this incredible growth company, and people were amazed. Now, if you take a Xerox machine and open up the door, you're going to see some stuff in there you recognize. You're going to see some wheels, you're going to see some gears, you're going to see a lot of different parts, and each individual part you might recognize, from like off your bicycle. You got a gear on your bike, and there's a gear in the copier. But the copier is not a bicycle. The copier it's got this purpose. It's assembled different parts, and what's the purpose of the copier? Taking one image and then making a bazillion of them. Okay, so EcoSector has different parts. We borrowed from different parts of the economy, from different features. We borrowed some things from nonprofits. We borrowed stuff from for-profits, and we've assembled it in a new way so that we can either crank out new businesses or take an existing business and make it blossom, make it get up to scale so that it can really address the problem that it was designed for. And so EcoSector, you might say, it's a new kind of business that's put together from a lot of pieces and putting together in a new way. What I call EcoSector, it's a meta leadership enterprise, because what EcoSector is about people that want to help all other leaders in this field succeed. If we want to grow a whole sector to deal with the problems, we got to tend to the needs of each individual leader with individual solutions. Okay, one guy's got a solution for protecting whales. One guy's got a solution for saving forests. Another guy's got a solution for protecting our water tables. And now the thing is, all those great solutions have common problems. So EcoSector seeks to deal with the common problems that all environmental leaders have in common. And doing that, we can really grow a sector. So that's our niche, you might say. That's our specialty. We don't focus on any one problem. We focus on the problem of leaders don't have enough good advice and easy access to capital. That's the 2 problems we set out to solve. And the reason I'm on the video right now today is because I think we solved them.